Welcome to my wire review. Today we're going to have a look at the Crazy Wire Company and we're going to have a look at the Campfall Fused Clapton wire. And we've got this in 26 gauge is the wire thickness. That wire thickness is for the two 26 gauge core wires, and then they are wrapped with 32 gauge wire. Before we go into the wire, I'd just like to say how much I really do like the packaging, as you can see that this wire comes in. I love these little bags. I love that it says on the bottom, produced in love with Warrington. With the amount of effort they go into the packaging, I'd say they certainly do produce it with love. This Fused Clapton comes in a nice little tin, and the spool sits inside there. I have taken it out of the tin for now. So I'll show you the spool. And there you can see there's the spool, and there is 5 meters of this Fused Clapton wire on this spool. I've had this wire for a couple of weeks and I've been vaping it on and off with a couple of other products from the Crazy Wire Company, and I will have a look at those ones on future videos as well for you. But today we're just looking at this Fused Clapton wire, and we're going to have a closer look at it. We're going to have a look at it wrapped up in coil format for your RDAs, and I'll tell you more about it. So here underneath the camera, as you can see, we've got a short length of the fused wire, and there you can see just how tight those outer wraps are with the 32 gauge Campfall wire. They are on there nice and tight, and bearing in mind they're making spools and spools of this stuff, so it is going to be machine spun, and for a machine spun it is very, very good. If I can put one of mine next to it that I made with a drill, there really is no difference on there. Looking at the wire, you can see that it's got some twists in it, and I'd say that's my only minor criticism of this wire, is that it is twisted, so it almost looks like it's been, the outer Clapton has been done round twisted wire, but this is just part of the machining process. Maybe the Crazy Wire Company can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is from the machining process where it's spinning and the wire spinning on it. It does twist the two wires slightly, but you can get that straight, and I can show you a piece of wire that I've done that with where I've made it nice and straight. So here's two coils that I've wrapped. I've wrapped these around a 3mm bit, and you can see that the one on the left is the one that comes off the spool. I've coiled that straight off the spool and wrapped it around a 3mm bit. Now the one on the right, I've straightened that, and the way I've straightened that is I've taken a length of it, put one end in a drill, held the other end with a pair of pliers, and just spun the drill the opposite way to the way that was wrapped, and then that pulls out those twists in it, which give you that much neater look, in my opinion, that much neater look that you have with the one on the right compared to the one on the left. Performance wise, it doesn't make a great deal of difference, I don't believe. I think it's going to be minute, any performance details. I vaped it in the same as the one on the left, and I vaped the one on the right. They both perform pretty much the same, really. It all comes down to what you like and what you like the look of. Personally, I prefer the look of the one on the right, but as I say, the one on the left, it certainly performs no different. It all depends on what your own needs are and what you're looking for. So as I've already mentioned, I've been using these coils, or this Fused Clapton wire, for on and off for a couple of weeks alongside some other Crazy Wire Company products, and they do perform really well. They last a long time. If you know what you're doing with coils with regards to cleaning them, you can clean the gunk off and carry on reusing them, and they certainly last a long time. So you're getting a lot of value for your money. This Fused Clapton, as I understand at the moment, is selling for $6.99 for 5 meters, and that's an awful lot of coils that you can build. I think these are about 6 wraps each. You can go bigger, smaller, depending on what you need. But even if you're doing big builds, big wraps, this stuff lasts for ages. So at $6.99, it's very good value for money. Now, on the money front, some people have said to me, well, how does the Crazy Wire Company stack up against the big brand names? Well, my answer to that is quite simple, is I see the Crazy Wire Company as a brand name. They are a brand. They've been producing wires for many, many years. They don't just make vaping wire, they make wire for all types of other industry. So they've been around, they know what they're doing, and they are fantastic coils, and for the money I think it's fantastic. So I'd recommend buying them. Like I say, I've been using them for quite a while. The only negative that I find is, for me personally, is that those Fused Claptons, they are twisted, whereas in a couple of minutes you can straighten them, so it's not a big issue. It just depends on what sort of look you want from your coil, how you want it to look in your RDAs, etc. So yeah, I just straighten them out and I have no issues with them. They last for ages. They're really well tightly wrapped, just as good as what I can do by hand with a drill. The only other slight negative I'd say is, as you can see on the top of that tin, it's got handwritten Fused, and that's starting to rub away. If you've got e-liquid on your hands, juice on your hands, and you start touching the spools or the tins, that does start to come off. You can clearly see that it says wire thickness 26 gauge. That hasn't come off, but I have had it on other spools where I've had juice on my fingers and I've rubbed across the right and it's come off. And because I've got so many different wires, I then start to forget which ones are which. So yeah, Crazy Wire, just sort that bit out. That's my only negative, along with that it looks slightly twisted, but you can, well, it is twisted and you can get that twist out anyway. Other than that, these are really fantastic coils. Highly recommend buying them if you're not in, if you can't wrap your own Claptons and you want to use Claptons. These are great. I can make my own Claptons, but I still find myself using Crazy Wire Claptons because it's all done for you and they're great quality and last for a long time. So I hope this review helps. If you're looking at buying it, like I say, I'd certainly recommend it. Yeah, go and buy it, give it a try. For $6.99 for 5 meters, you can't go wrong. I always find the postage and delivery is also very quick. So I hope you've really enjoyed this review and hope it helps. Thank you for watching.